Story 1. They are walking very slowly in the middle of the footpath, oblivious to where they are. Story 2. People replying to a technical question in a way that shows they did not read the careful description of the problem I took time to write. Story 3. The persistent historical increase in worker productivity and output that is not passed on to the workers who produce it. Story 4. Control-V with formatting into another man's spreadsheet. Paste values only psychopaths. Story 5. Drivers run red lights. In my city, about 75% ignore them. Many also text and scroll through social media while driving. Story 6. Walk slowly. Or better yet, when you are leaving somewhere and everyone is funneled through one of the two open doors at a double-door exit, open the other door. Story 7. People are clogging up grocery aisles to chat. There is a whole coffee area for that, or stand in the vegan section. Story 8. Rolling coal. Nothing says you're a child more than having a temper tantrum in your truck. Story 9. The leftmost lane has a person driving very slowly while using their phone. You can tell because they are visibly texting rather than making a call. Story 10. When drivers do not speed up in the merging lane, you are supposed to accelerate. Story 11. What really makes my blood boil is when people chew loudly with their mouths open. It's not just the noise, it's the lack of awareness. I sit there trying to focus, but the sound only grows louder in my head. I know it shouldn't bother me as much as it does, but once I notice it, I can't unhear it. Story 12. People are putting their cats out into the wild instead of taking them to a nearby society for the prevention of cruelty to animals. Story 13. Trump is a bad human being. Many people say he is dumber than a box of hair. Story 14. People who think their time is more valuable than others. Story 15. Asshole drivers don't give a single fuck about other cars on the road and put lives at risk so they can save 3 seconds at a stop sign. Story 16. Someone unknowingly leaves the tap half open, and water drips drop by drop. Story 17. I have nowhere to put anything. I pick up something heavy, and suddenly the kitchen table is set, the workbench is covered in tools, and the wheelbarrow is full of leaves. I put it on the floor and trip over it. Story 18. When you go to fist bump someone and they slap your hand because they are lazy. Story 19. When I am driving on a highway with multiple lanes and somebody is camping in the left lane for miles, refusing to let me pass, I sometimes miss my left turn. Even worse are drivers who camp in the lane and decide to match your speed. You speed up to pass, they speed up. In frustration, you brake and slow down below the speed limit, put your blinker on to slide behind them, and they suddenly slow down for no reason to match your speed. If their goal is to anger people and nearly cause a crash, good work. Story 20. When people walk diagonally instead of straight across, I have to wait longer for them to cross. Story 21. Some people confidently argue with their whole chest about something they are 100% wrong about. Everyone, it is okay to say I do not know. Story 22. 1. Snoring. 2. Rosaries. 3. Repetitive movements. 4. Specific sounds such as shoes, mouth noises, nose sniffling or breathing sounds. 5. Lights. 6. People for many reasons. 7. Not being able to sleep. 8. Sleeping. 9. Waking up to this reality and having everything happen to me all over again. 10. Having to do the exact same things I did yesterday all over again. 11. Being alone. 12. Feeling alone. 13. Mornings. 14. Having to pee again. 15. Washing my hair. 16. Dreams about people who left me. 17. My phone having no notifications again. 18. Beautiful people. 19. Dishes. 20. Clothes. 21. Groceries. 22. Menstruation. 23. Psychiatrists and therapists. 24. Diabetes. 25. Being thirsty or hungry again. 26. Magnetic resonance imaging scans. 27. Blood tests. 28. Separation after hanging out with someone I love. 29. Words that don't match actions. 30. Religions. 31. Artificial intelligence. 32. Hotels. 33. My birthday. 34. Lagging devices. 35. Being abandoned. 36. The words goodbye or bye. 37. Walking behind me. 38. Any lie. Story 23. People who keep sniffing and do not blow their noses. Jesus H. Christ. Story 24. When I cannot find my keys or my wallet, the longer it takes to find them, the more unstable I become. They always turn up in some dumb place like in my shoe. God help anyone who jokes with me in these moments and pretends they hid them. If you actually hid them, I do not know what I would do. Story 25. I just watched a woman take all the food and snacks for herself at the Ronald McDonald House in Orlando. She loaded a small wagon and took everything. What the heck? This is not the first incident. Another woman had already taken almost all the food and discarded it, and last week someone was caught dumping nearly all the food that other families could have eaten. A few days ago, a woman was seen filling a van with leftovers. No one is saying anything, but I will say something if I see it again. It is selfish, rude, and disgusting when people are struggling and barely surviving. Story 26. My neighbor's dog is currently barking. It is always outside and never seems to be taken for a walk, and it barks continuously. I feel sorry for it, but it really annoys me. It has finally cooled down enough to have the windows open, but the barking continues. I'm going to have to address the situation, and I wish I did not have to. This is relatively mild, but it is happening right now. Story 27. Poor elevator etiquette. Let people exit first and do not crowd or block the doors when they open. Story 28. Injustice. Apparently, it is related to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It has gotten me into so much trouble throughout my life. I become very passionate about it. Story 29. People who stop there like idiots after getting off the escalator. Baby girl, there are people behind you who cannot stop. Story 30. When people use a possessive form of I, as in my friend came over to my roommate and I's apartment, the issue is not merely that it is wrong. It reflects a failure of education that taught them to use I when referring to themselves and another person instead of teaching the difference between subject and object pronouns. Story 31. When you are stuck in traffic and someone moves onto the on-ramp to jump ahead. Story 32. People taking ages to order, buy, or pay in stores. For goodness sake, it is not rocket science. You are at the butcher. You should already know what you want to eat. If there are 5 people in line behind you, nobody has time or desire to listen to you chit-chatting with the cashier. Just pay, bag your groceries, and move on. Self-checkouts often take more time and require staff assistance to complete transactions. It is even more frustrating when the software does not tell you what is wrong. Slow walkers who stop in the middle of the sidewalk or hog its entire width are annoying, and it is worse when they zigzag almost purposely to prevent me from overtaking them. Story 33. When shoppers leave their shopping carts in parking lanes. Story 34. Some people pretend that widespread problems affect only them or people like them. Story 35. Turning on your signal after you have already started the turn is pointless. Obviously, I can tell you are turning now, douchebag. Story 36. I dislike people who do not read the room. If I look like I want to be left alone, leave me alone. I also dislike people who chew loudly with their mouths open. Story 37. Nuclear fission. It is what started the universe and has been running since the beginning. I cannot imagine anything simpler. I will admit it would convert my blood directly into gas, so the boiling aspect is mostly a figure of speech. Story 38. Asking someone at work a simple yet important yes or no question in Microsoft Teams and seeing this for 15 minutes. Asshole McDipshit is typing. Then they just go offline. Fuck you. Story 39. How billionaires are greedy and vile, and they will continue to get away with it. Story 40. A car tried to squeeze into the 10-foot space in front of me when there was no one behind me for miles. Story 41. Hard vacuum is any environment above approximately 19 kilometers, about 60,000 feet, or 0.06 atmospheres. Story 42. People who stand in the middle of a walkway to socialize or look at their phone instead of pulling over. People who listen to loud videos in a shared space. People who play their music on speakers in a shared space instead of using headphones. People who allow their children to make a mess in the store and expect employees to clean up after them. When two lanes become one, everyone speeds to the front to get in first, creating a bottleneck, and now we are all stuck in traffic because of selfish drivers. Story 43. Forgetting to grab a pocket item such as keys, phone, earbuds, or wallet after walking out the door. Story 44. I hate it when people start a left turn through the intersection just as the light turns red. I hate it even more when the lane they are in will get a green left turn arrow on the very next cycle. Story 45. People who do not vote in every election or who vote against their actual interests. Story 46. People entering through the exit door act as if I, who am exiting, need to move for them. Story 47. People who waver on the pavement while texting, then get angry when they walk straight into you because they were not looking and were wandering side to side, making them hard to ignore. Others put their feet on the seats or use speakerphone in public. I notice this is often older women and sometimes men who do not seem to understand that no one wants to listen to their conversation, especially when they hold the speaker so close to their face that it is almost touching. If you cannot take a call without speakerphone, consider not taking the call and avoid that selfishness. People who behave like that give off strong narcissistic vibes, as if they are the most important person on the train, bus, or subway, and do not care that everyone else is forced to listen. Story 48. Music while on hold? What the heck would I want to listen to loud, annoying music that I cannot mute or turn down because I have to wait for someone to answer? 30-second beeps allow me to continue whatever I was doing when I called. Story 49. When people use the word underrated to describe something or someone, they mean it is top of the class in popularity or attention. Story 50. People throw trash everywhere. Even a single candy wrapper feels wrong to me. Story 51. People leave the faucet running while brushing their teeth at the gym. Story 52. People who, in many ways, show they are oblivious to the fact that they share the planet with others. Story 53. The laziness and inability of humanity to protect and preserve plainly show that we are completely corrupted. Or money is the root of all problems. Dare to care and share. Story 54. People who refuse to admit fault or apologize, especially when it is staggeringly obvious and they dig in anyway. Story 55. When my neighbor across the street has company, they park in front of my house and block my driveway. It is usually only for a couple of minutes at most, but it makes me very angry. Story 56. I try to pick something up and miss it 20 times. I also hit my shoulder on a doorway. I become irrationally angry whenever either of these things happens. Story 57. People come up to me while I'm clearly doing something, say something, then immediately walk away and get mad that I didn't hear them. You saw that I was busy, so I wasn't paying attention and didn't have time to listen. Story 58. When people drag their heels while they walk, it drives me mad. It is mostly a winter boots thing, but I also see it with people in flip-flops or untied shoes. Story 59. People who do not use a coaster for their drinks even when one is right in front of them. Story 60. When people ask questions they already know the answers to or make blatantly obvious statements, like asking, "Are you eating a cucumber?" While I am eating one. What do you even say to that? Story 61. Not being able to find something, especially when I am in a hurry to get out the door. Story 62. Loud chewers. Congratulations. You have announced that you are eating to the whole block. Story 63. It is possible for someone to try to win an election and lose, then attempt to overturn the result and later try to overthrow the government, each time failing, and still face no consequences for their actions and even be rewarded. Story 64. Use your fucking blinkers, assholes. And I see drivers with really fast blinkers making up for those who don't use them. Thanks. Story 65. When there is a clear path to one side, people still walk where you are standing, forcing an awkward shuffle. This happens to me at work. Just go around where it is clear. Story 66. Americans who put the dollar sign after the amount, for example $20. Did you not pay any attention during the 14 to 15 years you were in grade school? It is a petty gripe, but still. Story 67. People who do not use their turn indicators, who do not use them until the last possible second, or who indicate after they have already begun the lane change or turn are assholes and inconsiderate douchebags. Story 68. People who treat others badly are often insecure. I never know whether it is because of me or them. Story 69. When someone messages you with only your name and then does not respond when you reply. Story 70. People who check in on Facebook at the hospital without adding context. Story 71. 1. Bright car headlights. 2. Slow pedestrians. 3. Being startled. Story 72. Cars with loud mufflers, or worse, those that backfire like a shotgun, are extremely annoying. People are not impressed that they can hear your Honda Civic from 3 miles away. Story 73. You don't look sick or handicapped. I have an invisible illness, and while I rarely get this comment myself, I hear it slapped in others' faces more often, which provokes instant fury. Story 74. Antidepressants. Although the theory that depression is caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain lacks strong evidence, antidepressants are still widely prescribed. They have been shown to be only modestly better than placebo and can cause long-term harm. Antidepressants not only change brain chemistry, they remodel the brain to function with the medication in place. They are not simply mood-stabilizing happy pills. Antidepressants can cause long-term side effects while you take them, and they can cause long-term or permanent damage if you stop them abruptly or taper too quickly. Such problems can also occur when tapering slowly. This long-term condition is called protracted withdrawal, also known as post-acute withdrawal syndrome. Symptoms of protracted withdrawal or post-acute withdrawal syndrome can include brain and neurological damage, anhedonia, inability to feel pleasure, akathisia, a feeling of inner restlessness, insomnia, central nervous system hypersensitivity, severe depression, severe anxiety, panic attacks, post-SSRI sexual dysfunction such as genital numbness and erectile dysfunction, and many other distressing symptoms. If you want to stop antidepressants, consider hyperbolic tapering, in which you decrease your current dose by about 10% each month. For example, reduce 10 milligrams to 9 milligrams, then to 8.1 milligrams. Hyperbolic tapering takes a long time but may reduce the risk of neurological harm. Despite widespread prescribing and the potential severity and persistence of protracted withdrawal, the topic is not widely discussed. Many people believe antidepressants are completely safe and that withdrawal lasts only a few weeks. The website Surviving Antidepressants provides more information about protracted withdrawal, how antidepressants remodel the brain, and approaches to quitting that aim to reduce the risk of long-term harm. It also includes many personal testimonies from people who have experienced withdrawal and protracted withdrawal. Story 75. Loud phones in public are honestly why I do not own a firearm. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.